highlights. The questions burning up the sports world get answered right here. This isn't just another recap. It's the sports answer. And leading the charge, sharp, fearless, and always bringing the edge, your host, Rudy Campos Jr. If you're talking sports, you better have the sports answer.
Good Sunday morning, Sports Answer fans. Rudy Campos Jr. for the Sports Answer. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any episode of the Sports Answer as we come to you every single Sunday. Plus, don't forget those shorts and contents that we do produce and add to the channel as well. Shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635, the best in the business. Your brand needs an upgrade. It needs to get to the top of the mountain. CFP Championship right around the corner. Well, your brand needs to be that national championship. Call Salem Surround today, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of the Sports Answer. We've got a loaded show, and as you know, we are the best half hour of sports in San Antonio. We've got a bunch of content to get into from CFP. NFL Wildcard weekend kicks off. We have Spurs Cheeseman, plus our fan question of the week is a Spurs question. We're going to attempt to answer that for him, as well as we are going to get started right now on the Sports Answer. And we're going to kick it off with CFP. And you know what? Indiana, Miami is your national championship game that will be played in Miami's backyard, in Miami, Florida, obviously. So that's going to be a fun throw game. We're going to break that down here in just a little bit, but how did they get there? Let's bring it on up first. As you see, the Indiana Hoosiers did defeat Oregon 56-22, obviously led by Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner, 5 touchdown passes. He had 177 yards passing. Indiana dominated from the beginning of this game. A lot of people thought this game would probably be the closest of the two because Oregon did play Indiana very well in the Big Ten. And lo and behold, Kurt Cignetti just, willing his team, getting his team ready for every game, every big moment. That was the question coming in for Fernando Mendoza, was the time that he's played against big teams, big time teams, the big moments. Can he handle it? He seems to be handling it just fine in this CFP run. They do really, really, really beat down the Oregon Ducks 56-22. Quick note on this. Keep in mind, Kurt Cignetti is now the king of the transfer portal. What does that mean? Well, for today's day in coaching in CFP, the transfer portal is probably one of the best things, but the worst things in college football, not to mention NIL as well, because NIL is starting to peek its really ugly head when it comes to college football and college sports in general. But Kurt Cignetti has done one thing, and he's done it one thing very well, to where we are now, and others are counting him as the king of the transfer portal. The average age of the Green Bay Packers is 25 years old. The average age of the Indiana Hoosiers is 23 years old. Why does that matter? Kurt is not going after the 5-star athletes. He's not going after those 5-star recruits that want to go play and get big money over at Alabama, LSU, Texas, a USC, somewhere like that. Kurt is going after the guys that are in the transfer portal who want to play, who want to have the opportunity to win a national title, who want to have the opportunity to get drafted to play on Sundays. He's getting mature, veteran collegiate players. He's able to go into the transfer portal, look at players and see which one fits his system. You cannot deny the fact that Kurt Cignetti is not the king of the transfer portal. In 2 years at Indiana, he has only lost 2 games. They've been a powerhouse for the past 2 years, well on their way to a possible national championship. Coaches out there like Dabo Swinney, you just kind of refuse to dive into the transfer portal. Lane Kiffin was able to do it for a while there. But you're seeing a mold being made by Kurt Cignetti. And that is the transfer portal. As much as it could hurt your team, as we see with UTSA locally, Jeff Traylor loses a lot of players every year in the transfer portal. Kurt Cignetti is developing his own mold. He's going into the transfer portal, getting the players that other teams feel may not fit their bill, but it fits Kurt's. And you're seeing it now. He's not worried about what stars you have on your rating. He's worried about how hard you want to play, how dedicated you are, and if you fit his coaching preference. 56-22, Indiana over Oregon in the other semifinal game. The Miami Hurricanes defeated the Ole Miss Rebels 31-27 in what was the game of the weekend for CFP. Carson Beck, a lot of questions with Carson Beck coming in. Was he going to be able to lead a Miami Hurricane team to the glory days, back to the glory days? And he was. 11-yard touchdown run to seal the deal at the end of the game. Miami's defense, as we mentioned before, probably one of the top, if not the top defenses in the country. Struggled against Trinidad Chambliss. Struggled against Kawan Lacey. But they were able to get it done. The Ole Miss story, the Ole Miss journey ends with a loss to Miami. Can Miami's defense stop Indiana's offense? When you look at both teams, I worry more of Miami's offense than I do for anything with Indiana. We're going to break that down real quick in just a little bit here on the CFP National Championship game between Indiana and Miami. But as you can see, Miami does move on. They do beat Ole Miss 31-27. And one thing that did come out of this game right here was Trinidad Chambliss. He applied for a 6 year of eligibility in the NCAA. Now, I know you get people, well, it's 6 years. I mean, how long can you stay in college? You have guys that are in college for 7, 8 years, and, they're not even doctors. They're not even lawyers yet. But they're still in college playing. Well, he applied. Diego Pavia, he was able to get a 6 year of eligibility. Some players have because of medical red shirts. Well, a little bit of the backstory behind this was Trinidad Chambliss is banking on a medical red shirt, and his lawyer is going to appeal. He's going to appeal to get him that 6 year of eligibility. But let's keep in mind here, if Trinidad Chambliss just does not get it reversed and enters the NFL draft, we have to understand something here. With his performances in the last part of the season and in the CFP, he has catapulted himself into where I have him as maybe the 4th best, but right around the 5th or 6th best quarterback in this NFL draft. Could he potentially get into the back part of the first round? It's debatable. It's debatable. A team could trade back into the first round and maybe look at him. He could be a 2nd round pick. I've got him right around that 3rd, 4th round pick. I got him as high as a 2nd round. But I mean, you go around 3rd or 4th round pick is what I've got him. If he doesn't get that 6th year of eligibility, stick to the draft. I think you'll be able to find a home in the NFL. I think your skill set does transition very well. We're going to break down some NFL prospects as the draft gets closer here on the Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Give them a call today. They're going to make you eligible every single time. They're going to make you the best no matter what. That is Salem Surround, 210-526-3635, proud sponsors of the Sports Answer. So Chambliss, if you stay in the draft, it's okay. You're going to get a lot of looks. You're going to get a lot of love. Your performances lately have been supreme. So if you have to stick to the draft, stick to the draft. I think you will be fine right there. So that gets us set up our national championship game between the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers. Both defenses top notch. We've mentioned before on the Sports Answer about Indiana's defense. Kurt Cignetti has put players on both sides of the ball. You've seen their defense just win games for Indiana, and you've seen them where that offense just does enough to get by and to get it done. Miami, you've seen the struggles throughout the season. You see them struggle with Ole Miss as recently as the semi game. Can you really firmly believe that they have enough to get over Indiana and go back to the glory days where Miami is on top of the college football world? Sports Answer Index says this. The minds behind the Sports Answer. The Indiana Hoosiers have been the best team in college football the entire season. They're going to continue to be the best team in college football when this game concludes. They finish the season undefeated. They beat Miami. I have Indiana beating Miami 38-21. I think it's close in the beginning, but overall, I think Indiana does pull away. Kurt Cignetti, like we mentioned before, shows you, hey, this is how you win in college football now. Screw the NIL stuff. Let me go into the transfer portal and get the guys that are going to help me win now, no matter the age. We're going to get these guys to help us win now. Indiana beats Miami. I've got them 38-21. Indiana over Miami. Your national champions, those Indiana Hoosiers. Appreciate everybody joining us here on the Sports Answer. Again, Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. If you've got to go to their website, www.salemsurround.com/San Antonio. That way you can get all the information you need to get your business going on the right foot. There's only one path, and that path does lead to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Be sure to subscribe, youtube.com/The Answer Now TV, so you do not miss the Sports Answer, as well as every other show that we have on The Answer Now TV on YouTube. Subscribe today. We've got NFL Wildcard Weekend. Before we get into the games that are going on today, let's recap the games from yesterday. The Rams defeated the Panthers in a thrilling game. Matthew Stafford had that pass to Kobe Parkinson at the end of the game to propel the Rams 34-31 over the Panthers. Matthew Stafford showing why he should be talked about as the MVP of the NFL. Do I have him as MVP of the NFL? I actually do not, but he makes a great case there. It seemed like when you go back to week 13, where the Panthers were able to defeat the Rams, it felt the same. Rams got off to a really good start in this game. They were up, I believe, 17-7, if I'm not mistaken, at one point of the game. And then you saw the wheels just kind of start to slow down and start to stop. And you saw the Carolina Panthers start to making its charge. And you felt, wow, are they really going to choke this game? Are they really going to lose this game? The Rams, me included, I had the Rams beginning of the season as the Super Bowl champs. I felt the Rams were the best team on both sides of the ball. And I'm thinking, I cannot believe I'm about to see the Rams get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. That would be an astronomical loss for the Rams, but they did come through at the end of the game, beating the Panthers 34-31. In the other game, you saw the Chicago Bears defeat the Green Bay Packers. They did come back from, I believe it was 18 down in this game. Now, this brings up a lot of questions. One question that did come up was what we've talked about before, and that is Matt LaFleur. If he was unable to get a win in the first round, would we hear rumblings of maybe Green Bay to say we need to go in a different direction? You've seen coaches already get fired from the NFL this past week. Could we see another one join them and Matt LaFleur? Now, Packer fans, I've seen both sides of the fence here. I mentioned it a couple of weeks back. I mentioned it again this past week about Matt LaFleur maybe not sticking around in Green Bay. Is Matt LaFleur the guy to get it done in Green Bay? You've got a young quarterback in Jordan Love. You've got a good receiving core. You've got a nice running game. You were able to build a little bit through that defense with Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. I think the Packers' job is a very enticing one. But does Packer front office personnel believe Matt LaFleur is the guy? I mentioned it before. I'm going to say it again. If they lost this game to the Bears, I think you're going to start to hear rumblings. I don't think Matt LaFleur returns as the coach for the Green Bay Packers, but we shall see. Caleb Williams is the other question. I was not high on Caleb Williams in the NFL draft. I had him 4th, 5th round pick at best. He ended up obviously going number 1. Can you really say that Caleb Williams has NFL talent, which he does have NFL talent? We're not going to deny that. But he still makes a lot of mistakes. You saw a lot of mistakes in this game made by Caleb Williams. So is it Caleb Williams being that good? Or is it Ben Johnson being in the right spot at the right time and able to game manage this game and other games for Caleb Williams? I'm going to go with the latter. I'm going to say it's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson coaching Caleb Williams makes everything easier for Caleb, and it shows. It really, really does show that it makes it so much easier for him. He puts Caleb and the team on offense in the best possible position. It's up to Caleb to make those simple plays. Yeah, they kind of throw it around a little bit. Caleb's got to improvise some as well. I'm not taking anything away from Caleb Williams. I'm just saying he's looking good because Ben Johnson, the offensive genius that he is making him look good and making the offense look good. But whatever gets it done, gets it done. The Bears got it done. 31-27 with the comeback victory. Question is, Matt LaFleur, coaching Green Bay, will he still be there at the start of next season? We will find out. We've got 3 NFL games to go today. We're going to get into those here. After this, we'll take our commercial break. We're going to get our commercial break with Salem Surround 210-526-3635. And on the way back after the commercial, we'll get into some NBA talk. NBA trade happened. Also, our Spurs Cheeseman. We've got the recap of Spurs Celtics. We've got our fan question of the week here. We're going to get into that. It is Spurs related, so we've got a whole lot more for you guys here on the Sports Answer, powered by Salem Surround. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV, hit that subscribe button. Wildcard weekend continues today, and you've got 3 games on tap. We're going to go to one game first that I feel was like, it's not going to be too hard for me to get with this game and to kind of give you the fastest answers possible. And that is the Chargers and the Patriots. As much as I like the Chargers, as much as I like what Harbaugh's been doing, you cannot take away from the Patriots and New England Patriots. Drake May, who I've got ascended as the NFL MVP this season for what he's been able to do at such a young age, you've got to give the Patriots some love. The defense is playing, remarkable. Drake May is playing MVP caliber. The run game with Trayvon Henderson, it's everything is balanced in New England. And I really feel like this could be one of the teams we talk about as going to the Super Bowl, semi in, the AFC finals, basically, conference finals. I think they could really be right there. Now, whether they can win and get there, we will find out. But this is a team that has not looked back all season. I love them over the Chargers. Give me the Patriots over the Chargers. I'm going to go to the Eagles and Niners game here. Eagles offense has kind of been sputtering. It hasn't been great per se. The Niners have been battling injuries all season. This is one of those games where back in the day, this was like, oh man, this is a great game. Even up to a few years ago, this is going to be a great game. And I feel like this game's going to be good. I think it's going to be close. But does San Francisco go into Philadelphia and get a victory? The sports answer to that is Yes, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It's something about the Eagles this year that had the same feeling of Kansas City. You've got the talent, you've got everything going good. It just doesn't seem enough. And you've kind of seen it throughout the last part of the season. Philadelphia just didn't have enough, didn't have that same Super Bowl drive. And I feel like it's going to really affect them this weekend, this today, actually, against San Francisco. Give me the Niners over the Eagles. And then the hardest game for me to do is Buffalo, Jacksonville. Why? You can never count against, Josh Allen. I mean, MVP of the league. And you think, okay, Josh Allen should be able to get it in against Jacksonville. Jacksonville has been on a tear. Trevor Lawrence has always had questions around him, and they're thinking, okay, is Trevor the guy? Trevor is proving that he is and can be the guy in Jacksonville. I really felt if there's going to be a major upset, it's going to be this one right here, where Jacksonville could upset Buffalo. Then you ask the question that we asked about Matt LaFleur. If Buffalo loses the first round, is Sean McDermott look differently? And maybe does Buffalo move on if Josh Allen is in agreement with Sean McDermott leaving, with being fired? A lot of questions to be answered. We're going to get into those more next week and maybe throughout the week here on the Sports Answer. Nonetheless, I'm going to stick to my guns on this. I'm going to go with Buffalo over Jacksonville. Would not shock me if we saw Buffalo lose to Jacksonville. It's Rudy Campos Jr. We're going to be right back here. It's our first commercial break here on the Sports Answer, powered by Salem Surround. Appreciate everybody joining us here today. Got some NBA talk to get into when we get back. It is the Sports Answer. Rudy Campos Jr.
In San Antonio, your business deserves more than noise. It deserves to be seen. SEO, social media, digital ads. If you're not showing up, you're losing customers. At Salem Surround San Antonio, we design digital strategies that work, from web design and SEO to social, podcast, and display ads. Real tools. Real results. Let's amplify your brand. Start today with a free digital presence evaluation. Salem Surround San Antonio, your brand, everywhere it matters.
Salem Surround San Antonio. Give them a call today, 210-526-3635. That is Salem Surround, proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you are not left out on anything that we are going to be covering as far as NBA, CFP, and NFL. We've got some NBA trade details that have come up here. This past week, we saw the NBA trade of Trae Young going from Atlanta to the Washington Wizards in exchange for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. No draft compensation. So remember, I was saying about Trae Young, he's not a tradable guy. The contract is not a very good contract at all. It would be if he's playing at, all NBA caliber, but he's not. The Trae Young trade is something where you think, okay, we're just trading to get tickets sold. Maybe you can build around him in Washington. It's possible. Alex R., you've got some pieces there. Bilal Kalabi, you've got some pieces there. But it's not pieces that are going to get you into the win. What they are looking at is that New Orleans Pelicans pick that the Wizards hold, or the Atlanta Hawks hold. Atlanta made this deal because we are getting rid of Trae. The Pelicans are going to be that bad this year. Right now, it's a top 3 pick, roughly. So they move on from Trae. They get a new face of the franchise. Could it be Boozer? Could it be DeBonza? We don't know yet. But this also gives Atlanta CJ McCollum, who's been playing better than Trae Young this year. But it gives them another piece to move to Dallas if they are trying to get Anthony Davis there. You are looking at a very good Atlanta team if they're able to get Anthony Davis. As of right now, it's a better Atlanta team with Trae Young gone and CJ McCollum in. I like what Atlanta has done. Wizards got Trae Young. Congratulations. You're probably going to sell more tickets that way. That is a definite. You're probably going to end up selling more tickets that way. Other NBA news before we get into our Spurs Cheeseman talk is the sounds around Ja Morant. Shams Charania did post this. Said for the first time, the Memphis Grizzlies are entertaining offers to potentially move two-time All-Star Ja Morant ahead of the February 5th NBA trade deadline. Where will Ja go? Top 3 teams right now: Milwaukee, Minnesota, Miami. I don't like the Minnesota fit so much. I don't really like the Minnesota fit. The Miami fit would work. You probably have to give up either Tyler Hero or Norman Powell. You're not going to give up Bam Adebayo. You may have to give up a piece like Jaime Jaquez. So the Miami piece would work. But do you want Ja Morant and his antics in Miami? I mean, it's Party City, USA. I don't think I would want Ja Morant there as part of the Heat. That leaves Milwaukee. If Milwaukee is able to get a third team in and facilitate some money, maybe a pick here or there, because remember, Milwaukee doesn't have any picks. They don't hold any of their picks. If they can get a team in there to kind of facilitate everything, help out there, I think Milwaukee's the best spot. Milwaukee, Giannis, and you keep Giannis and Miles Turner. That's a three-headed monster that immediately puts them into contending spot in the Eastern Conference. Are they better than the Knicks? Are they better than the Pistons? We have to wait and see. But it's Milwaukee where I've got circled that I think that would be the best place for Ja Morant to land if they're able to make it happen. Don't want to see him in Minnesota. I think him and Ant would just be a little too crazy. Don't want him and his antics in Miami. I think that will cause a whole lot more drama than it needs to be. Milwaukee should be that spot. Definitely should be that spot. We've got Spurs Cheeseman coming up here. What is it? What do you guys think Spurs Cheeseman might be? It's part of a sports answer question that we've got. Let's dive right into it.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs Cheeseman. Nine, por favor.
All right, thank you, Spurs Cheeseman girl. So real quick on the Cheeseman, the Spurs did beat the Boston Celtics last night by a final score of 100-95. You've got your box score up right now, and you know the one guy you got to circle right now is Julian Champagny, man. I mean, I circle him because he's doing a lot of good things, not scoring wise, not shooting wise. But he ended the game with 13 rebounds. He's been crashing the boards for San Antonio. And you got to give him his props. This guy's come in and he's been able to, he was known just as a shooter. He's a shooting guy. He's lethal shooter in some aspects. When he gets hot, he gets hot. But he's kind of gone with that and said, you know what? I'm adding a little bit more. He's crashing the boards. He's getting double-digit rebounds now. And that makes a huge difference for San Antonio. You also see guys, like Cornette do the little things right. He ended up with 7 rebounds. Victor Wembanyama ended up with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 block shots. De'Aaron Fox had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. Stephon Castle, a lot of people have questioned lately, is he the guy? Has he taken a step back? No, he just doesn't have to do too much. He did fill the stat sheet, 9 points. He had 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals as the Spurs do beat the Boston Celtics by a final score of 100-95. Our Spurs Cheeseman does have a question. We're just going to leave it at that here. So our question of the week goes to a fan down in Corpus Christi, and let's get to it right now. Are the Spurs real contenders this season? Great question from Roy M. down in Corpus Christi, Texas. Appreciate you following us here on the Sports Answer. And the simple answer is yes. A healthy Spurs team are contenders this season. We can call them a contender. Now, let me kind of go back a little bit here. Will they win the NBA title this year? I've got the answer that says no. My sports answer is no. I don't have them winning the NBA title, but that doesn't mean they are not contenders. A healthy Spurs team is a team that can give everybody fits. You've seen them give fits to Oklahoma City this year. You've seen them give fits to Denver this year. Now, the New York Knicks, obviously, they've kind of got a way of defending San Antonio, and the Spurs have not been able to figure that out. We've seen teams kind of defend the Spurs and play the Spurs differently, a la the Phoenix Suns. There's also still a lot of questions for the Spurs going into what could be a playoff appearance this season. The biggest question is, can they stay healthy? Can you get 65 or more games out of Victor Wembanyama this year? Can they really dodge the injury bug? That is the massively big question for the Spurs, being true contenders this year. But your question, are the Spurs real contenders this season? By all means, Roy, I will tell you this much. They absolutely are contenders this season. Does that mean they will win? Does that mean they will win a title this year? I do not have them winning an NBA title this year, but they can contend for your title. Appreciate the question, Roy. And again, if you want to submit your Sports Answer questions, all you have to do is just go watch our show, Sports Answer, on Answer Now TV. You subscribe there, you catch the Sports Answer show, drop on any one of the shows, drop a question in there. We go through all the questions and we pick the best one to answer. So appreciate everybody who is helping us here and who is listening to the Sports Answer daily when it's released on Sundays. If you can't catch it on Sunday, you can catch it on Answer Now TV on YouTube. Shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. Guys, I appreciate everybody who has joined us here today. Enjoy your NFL Wildcard weekend. Enjoy the CFP when it gets here, Indiana, Miami, and continue to support those San Antonio Spurs as they are continuing to rise in the Western Conference, as well as Roy mentioned, contending in the NBA. For the Sports Answer, I am Rudy Campos Jr. You have those burning sports questions, drop them. We'll give you the exact sports answer. See you guys next time.
You've been listening to The Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. Today's show was brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, helping local businesses grow with digital strategies that work. Visit salemsurround.com/San Antonio to learn more. We'll see you next time on The Sports Answer.